Hi there, everyone. Steve Wyss here, joined by Kevin Harper, and here we are for the latest cricket IPL match previews. On to Wednesday, we've got Gujarat Lions against Delhi Daredevils, and this is the first real time we've got a dead rubber, Kev. So, is the motivation of both teams quite questionable here?
Possibly, Steve, but I mean, as we've said previously, all the contracts are up for renewal at the end of the season. Not everyone on these two sides, by any stretch of the imagination, are guaranteed to get contracts for next season. So you would think they would, they'd be playing for them. Delhi tend to keep a lot of the same side together, so I would imagine that they're building for the future. So there's something for them to play for, and of course, it's the first game in Kanpur, so you would think they're duty bound to entertain at the very least.
Yeah, a brand new ground, quite a late stage of the IPL. Tell us a bit more about this stadium, the wicket. What's it going to be like here, Kev?
Well, based on the fact, or going through the tournament so far, that the first game on every ground has been a really good wicket, I think we can safely assume that it's going to be a good deck. They're only playing two matches here, so I mean, it's not like they've had to put together a whole square of good wickets. We've only had to put a couple together, so I'm sure they'll find a decent batting strip to use. Listen, we're in India; it's not the biggest ground. I would imagine that the batsmen are going to enjoy life. Usually pretty hot here, so bowling will be difficult. England played India in a T20 international here earlier in the year, back in January. England hit 7 sixes, and they were only chasing 150. So that in itself highlights the potential for runs to flow in this game.
Yeah, now in terms of the actual match outcome itself, who do you think is more likely to win?
Flip a coin, really, Steve. I mean, Gujarat have been terrible all season, haven't they? We know their issues. We've made light of their issues throughout our podcasts in this tournament. Delhi are a weird breed, aren't they? They're either fantastic with the bat or they're bloody awful with it. You'd almost need to be a psychic to work out which one's going to come along. And I'm not a psychic, unfortunately. If I was, I'd be a rich man, but I'm not. So from that point of view, maybe you could argue that the Gujarat Lions are at least going to bat well, and you know that. So maybe they're the ones that you'd rather be on, but not sure I'd want to be on either, at least, Steve. Maybe the chasing side, but even that would only be a stab in the dark, really.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, correct here. I think you want to be chasing in this sort of game, don't you? Knowing what these two teams are like at this stage of the season. Any particular team news that we need to be aware of? Significant news, that is.
Yeah, there's plenty of absences in this game, Steve. Obviously, Chris Morris, Kagiso Rabada, there and no more. They've gone. They've joined up with South Africa. Angelo Matthews has disappeared as well. He's joined up with Sri Lanka ahead of the Champions Trophy. And there are doubts again over Zahir Khan. So that's not good news for Delhi Daredevils. In fact, that leaves them with just 5 overseas players because Sam Billings isn't coming back to the tournament now. England announced that the other day because Delhi can't qualify. There's no point in Billings going back, and that makes perfect sense. For the Gujarat Lions, obviously, Andrew Tye, Brendan McCullum have been ruled out for the entire competition. They're going to be lining up probably similar to how they did in their last game. So, they got a win in their last game, didn't they? Not a win for pride, but a token win nevertheless. And maybe that will give them the momentum to go into this game and pick up another win.
Yeah. Now, in terms of actual betting for the game, your main pick is going to be in the sixes market. You think there's going to be quite a few maximums struck in this game, don't you? And over 13.5 is the line that you're going to take.
Yeah, over 13, Steve, over 12.5. 13 or more it is, bet 365. It's a fairly obvious pick, isn't it? I mean, you look at the reverse fixture between the two at Delhi, a much bigger ground than this, a much harder ground to score sixes. 208 Gujarat Lions chased down with 2.5 overs to spare. What was there that day? 31 sixes. So,
there's a lot.
We're not exactly pushing the boat out to ask for 13 here, are we, on a much smaller ground? the very first time it's been used. So we haven't got to worry about it getting tired and low and slow and any of that like we've seen certainly Mohali yesterday. Everything points to there being sixes here. Neither side can bowl now. That might be a little bit harsh on Delhi to say they can't bowl, but certainly the heart of their bowling attack has been ripped out of this side with Morris and Rabada disappearing. Gujarat just can't bowl. Dwayne Smith hit form in the last game. Smith, Rayner, Finch, Kartik, Kishan, Samson, Pant, Anderson, Samuels, etc., Brathwaite. The six hitting potential is there for all to see, and with absolutely nothing to play for, there's no reason why batsmen won't pin their ears back here and swing for the moon.
Yeah, and you would expect a pretty good deck, wouldn't you, considering this new venue on show?
Yeah, I think so. There was a couple of games here in the IPL last year, Steve. One of them had 12 sixes in it. That was the Mumbai Indians, who obviously don't concede too many. There was another one where the scores were only 120 against 120, and there were 8 sixes in that game. So, I mean, the potential is there for sixes to be hit. I guess the only downside is you are taking a chance that Delhi bat well. But, I mean, if they're batting second, then it don't matter if they bat well, because you would think the line's been near enough covered in the first innings, and as we saw the other day, even when they only scored 60 odd, they still hit 3 sixes. So it's not like they can't hit sixes, Delhi.
Now let's talk about batsmen, and there's a big price that you're going to take in the top Delhi Daredevils batting market here, Kev. Carlos Brathwaite, he's 25 to 1. You think he's got a shot at top scoring, don't you?
Yeah, I see no reason why not, Steve. Like you say, Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name as the commentary went in the World T20 final. Well, we saw in that innings that he can hit sixes, that's for certain. He's been chomping at the bit on the sideline, hasn't he? Done a couple of interviews with various people, and you can clearly see he's a frustrated man, quite rightly so. Actually, really and truly, I would wonder if he'd rather than sitting on the sidelines here, if he'd rather be playing for the West Indies in their Test series against Pakistan. That would be interesting to know. But he's going to get a chance here. I can't see them playing Ben Hilfenhaus. I mean, they might do, but there's absolutely no merit in that. He offers nothing going forward. He wasn't in their squad to begin with, was he? They brought him in once Quinton de Kock got injured. So you would think he's going to be the overseas player who's left out in this game. Brathwaite, he can play anywhere in the order, really. Yeah, he won't open or anything like that. But when he's in, he can go mad. We've just seen Delhi shot out yet again, and that's happened far too many times in this tournament for comfort. So, take a chance on him, really. It's not like the top order are regularly getting away. They're very much hit and miss, and if it's a missed day, then it might be Carlos's day.
Okay, yeah, Carlos Brathwaite, 25 to 1, top Delhi Daredevils batsman. And finally, just a few thoughts about the Gujarat Lions batting lineup. Finally, Dwayne Smith actually did something in the last game. Shock horror. So maybe is it worth riding him now he's finally found some form, or do you think someone else might come big?
Yeah, I mean, you say shock horror, Steve, but I did say in that podcast that he would come good now that he's ensconced in the side, and then he knows that he's going to play for the rest of the tournament in the position that he should be in. Interestingly, he actually scores quicker when he bats further down the innings, but obviously he doesn't face as many deliveries. So that's an interesting statistic that I thought I'd throw out there. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine against the seamers that Delhi are going to throw at him. If anything, he struggles against the spinners, certainly with the new ball. Aaron Finch will go well as well. Suresh Raina, Dinesh Karthik, one of them 4 will top score, you would think, unless they shove Ishan Kishan up and he gets away.
Yeah, so some interesting thoughts there. Just a reminder of the 2 main bets for the game. Over 13 or more sixes, and Carlos Brathwaite, top Delhi Daredevils batsman. Okay, thank you very much as ever for your thoughts, Kev. We'll be back for Thursday's game, and that's between Mumbai Indians and Kings 11 Punjab. But from this podcast, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers, Steve. Cheerio all.